Yes, chat people, this is Michael Shamaya representing. I will say, Hail the Lion voice, saying it is time for the lions and the lionesses to tell their own story. King David killed Goliath with a stone, we original dread.
The time has come for the lioness to tell her own story.
And I want to tell everybody, if it were not for Rastas and reggae, people would not know the real Marcus Garvey. I want to make it clear, Amy Jocks Garvey did her job of making sure people really understood the real teachings of the UNIA and Garvey. But if it were not for the Ras Tafari movement and reggae, people would not know the real Marcus Garvey. Now, today, a lot of people coming in it from different Pan-African, doors, but the reality in 87, the Rastas was keeping it alive, burning spear.
The year is 1892, and the land of Ethiopia has been experiencing 4 years of terrible famine and drought. They call it the Kikuken, or the evil days. At least 1/3 of the human population and 90% of the cattle have died. The hyenas have feasted on so many carcasses that they have become overweight and barely able to move. Just when the people could take no more of the evil days, a woman named Wasiro Yeshimabe is giving birth in a place called Ergersa Gora. This is her 9th attempt to bring forth new life. Her previous 8 attempts only resulted in death. Will this child live? Thankfully, a healthy baby boy is born. His first cries are drowned by thunder and lightning flashes across the night sky. The heavens open up and torrential rain starts to fall. Ethiopia's drought is over, and the baby boy is given the name Jawara, meaning one to be feared or respected. Ras Tafari's father, Ras Makonnen, is a very important man in 1892 Ethiopia. Although he is overjoyed at the birth of his newborn son, he cannot spend much time with him. Ras Makonnen is the governor of Harar and must get back to the famous walled city to deal with its affairs. Furthermore, he is the foreign minister of Ethiopia, and having traveled to different places in Europe, he is very aware of the material and military advances they have made and the looming threats they pose to his country. Ras Makonnen knows that the majority of Ethiopians have no idea what is coming, and that he has to work that much harder to secure the realm. Ras Tafari would grow up to become the legendary emperor, Haile Selassie I. To understand his journey, we must first understand the Ethiopia that he was inheriting, and what it was like when he was born in 1892. Get your copy of Kwesi Bansu's book, Haile Selassie I, Ethiopia, Volume 1, The Rise of the Priestly Warrior Kings, and increase your knowledge about the history, politics, and culture of Ethiopia in 1892, and how it connects to the rest of African and world history at the time. Haile Selassie I, Ethiopia, Volume 1 is available for purchase at www.bookmanexpress.pub. Please visit for more information.
So as I moved in the Garvey movement and learned and traveled to Philadelphia, Chicago, and different places, learned from different elders, of course, I thought the revolution was happening right then, because I was a young man in my 20s when I came in, and I was ready. I was ready for revolution, you know what I mean? And the elders say, well, sit down, young man. There's a lot you need to know. You got to learn. And I learned a lot from those elders. And today, I want young people to really understand what I'm saying is that we are building a structure for you, for the future. Because the fact of the matter is, Garvey studied those who came before him. We can go all the way back to the Haiti Revolution, and we can go all the way back to ancient Kemet, and we can go back, because for real, we got all of that. We got all those ancestors with us, and it's important for us, no matter what the Urugu, the oppressor, or the other fellow or other folks do, they can't stop us. However, they can trick us, which they've done. They've tricked too many of our people, and we have to, as my brother Tony Martin said, we have to come back into finding our cosmic assignments. Well, anyway, part of my life growing up in Washington, D.C., I give thanks to the sisters. I'm a blessed grandfather now. I have grown grandchildren now. I had blessings with queens, even the queens that I did not been able to stay with. We still the best of friends, and we still love one another, and they know each other. But I have a queen right now that's top of the line, Kathy English Hope, who's the ambassador of health and wellness and a sister of the government and a great sister. But I also give blessings to the mothers of my children because they're great women too. And we all got this big family thing. So I've been blessed to, I know some folks run from one to the other. I've been blessed to have all that love still locked in, and our children can see it. I got 2 great stepchildren and 3 great grandsons and 1 granddaughter. So I give thanks for that coming through all this. Now, let me move back to the Garvey movement.
Yes.
It's so important to understand I rose in the ranks as 3rd Assistant President General for 3 terms. I also had the blessing of serving as co-chairman of the Marcus Garvey Centennial Committee with Brother Leo Berkeley out of Canada, who was the chairman, and we held the big centennial in Jamaica. That was my first time going to JA. And I'm here to tell you.
What year was that?
That was 1987.
Okay.
And I want to tell everybody, if it were not for Rastas and reggae, people would not know the real Marcus Garvey. I want to make it clear, Amy Jocks Garvey did her job of making sure people really understood the real teachings of the UNIA and Garvey. But if it were not for the Ras Tafari movement and reggae, people would not know the real Marcus Garvey. Now, today, a lot of people coming in it from different Pan-African, doors, but the reality in 87, the Rastas was keeping it alive, burning spear. You know what I mean? I had the opportunity of meeting Third World because they played at our convention in Jamaica. I had the opportunity of going to St. Anne's. I had, of course, Dr. Julius Garvey and Coretta Scott King were also there, and the big centennial celebration. I had the opportunity of meeting Brother Ross Cowan, who produced an album in tribute to Garvey in that time. And me and Jackson Baye got the second one off the press because we got to go to his house. And so I got that album right now. And, I had Fort Sidrack, Brother Sidrack had it. I loaned it to him. I got it back, but I got that album. It's not scratched. And you can go online and check it out. It's a tribute to Garvey done during the centennial in Jamaica. But the government of the UNIA held a great convention. And of course, I got to meet the Third World. I got to meet, that was my first time meeting Muda Baruka, and I held up my brother Muda Baruka, who has definitely been on the case for the race for the longest time. So I, being a dread at that time, because I was dread at that time.
Yeah.
All the other
give us a story about how you put on locks, why you decided, because when I came to DC, it was about the cornrow, they used to call it. It was either a low Caesar fade or cornrow. Now everybody has locks in DC, but back then it was rare.
I was one of those young guys that had my hair cornrow too. But as I got conscious and I understood the importance of spirit, I got into wearing dreadlocks. This actually is my second time locking up.
Okay.
The first time I locked up, it was kind of crazy, and I didn't like. I ended up cutting it, and I went back to it because I understood it a little better as I grew older. So coming up in the UNIA and being a locksman, and of course a lot of the Garveyites are, a lot of the UNIA people are locksmen, like my brother Sam. A lot of us wear locks now, but I understand it's a spiritual phenomenon. The locks don't make the man grows the locks.
Yes.
But it's inside the man that count. And I understand though that we go back to Africa, Kimathi. So locks have been around a long time, but I did the study. And of course, I mentioned earlier, Brother Ross Michael and Brother Abraham, they were actually members of the UNIA in the 80s too.
Okay.
So we had a lot of Ross. In fact, Ross Michael was the vice president. And then Jackson Baye, who I learned from, was a locksman. It was a kind of natural thing for me. And then when I fell into it and felt the spirit, because I want to stress to people, it don't matter whether you've got locks or not, it's matter the spirit. But if you're a locksman and you understand the importance of the spirit, that really makes you a better man or woman. Anyway, I don't want to digress. I'm gonna get back into
I love it. But you were talking about having locks in Jamaica. What was that experience?
Well, again, like I said, we were running into brothers and sisters that were looking for Marcus Garvey. That's what blew me and Jackson Bay away, because we locksmen in Jamaica and vibing around and meeting different people. So it was a blessing, because it was sort of like they could identify with us a little better than some of the older Garveyites. So it was sort of a opening for conversation.
Yes.
And so we let them know, oh no, Garvey's not coming back physically, but Garvey is alive forever spiritually. So anyway, that was a blessing of learning in Jamaica, because that was my first. I've been there many times since then, but that was my first radical ties to Jamaica.
Did they think you were Rastafari? Were they challenging you?
No, I didn't. We didn't run into any of that, because basically, remember, we were there celebrating Garvey. So
yes.
The energy was mutual. Now, of course, some of the real Rastas, they were schooling us more than anything else, and we were listening and learning, and we were sharing with them, because they like, okay, you're dealing with the UNIA, and we know about Bagawai. I'm not gonna call who he is, but we knew about Bagawai, but we knew about Tony Martin, and he was there with us. Okay, so. And like I say, Third World, Ebo and all of them, Carrot, all of them, it was sort of a blessing. Even though we had the convention at the hotel, the Rastas did a tour all around the island while we were there. So it was just a blessing, brother. It was a blessing, and it was uplifting. Some people went to Africa in '87, Marcus Garvey Jr. We were in Jamaica. Because that's what the government decided they wanted to do, the big celebration in Jamaica. Okay. That's when I met Gordon, and I met, before Liberty Hall was Liberty Hall belonged to the UNIA. Okay, that property, before it was rebuilt. And it's a long story. I won't get into a lot of that, but we got to march. We did a march and all that. Hadari Ali was with us. Two of my daughters were with us. And we just had a grand time, man, in JA.
Yeah, I'm a Gideon. Cataclysmic forces, good over evil. Yeah, for the ghetto youth, worldwide. Yeah. I see the youths nowadays, they growing up. Wanna know the truth, they wanna know what's up. They got no fear now, they'll call you bluff. They asking questions cause they had enough. Why? Some gone stray cause times is tough. Some walk with the machine, ready to bust. I'ma give you when things get dangerous. No, in the ghetto things get dangerous. On the battlefield things get dangerous. Them carry RPG, M16. Got a problem to wipe out your whole team. For American dream, them get scandalous. Lost and put us into the ghetto, try abandon us. Cause we the remnant of the first sons of Kush. Warrior tribes, we not the ones to push. Just look into them history, see we rebellious. That's cause them systems so unjust. Take the shackles and chains, change them to handcuffs. Release your physical frame, them want your brain. Them a vampire looking for blood to drain. Highly Selassie come and break every chain. Bob Marley tell them, now we tell them again, yo. We tell them this ain't a game, but this a Armageddon, you got to mentally train. Yeah, I tell them this ain't a game, but this is heaven on earth, or go burn in the flames. Yeah, I tell them this ain't a game, I say I gotta play your hate cause some things gotta change. I tell them this ain't a game, but this a time for African people to rise. I tell them, earthquake, hurricane, tornado, the wind blows and bring the rains. I got the whole west coast in flames. Melt the Arctic poles and flood the seas. Hurricane force winds blow down the trees. Whole earth feel the pain when the bombs release. Read your psalms, release David prophecies. Marcus Garvey said look to the east. Ras Tafari is the prince of peace. And Haile Selassie I come conquer the peace, yo. They trap the youths with them luxuries to get the ladies. Gotta drive Mercedes, people killing babies. Try to keep us down with AIDS. We descended from kings, now we surround with plague. Man, I kill them brother, man, to drive the Escalades. I can't stand Babylon and all the mess they made. Teach the youths that them best when them rest in the grave. Wolf trick the lion, got the lion a shade. Can't reach Mount Zion unless you learn to behave. Got to stand firm cause these is perilous days. I tell them, we tell them this ain't a game, but this a Armageddon, you got to mentally train. Yeah, I tell them this ain't a game, but this is heaven on earth, or go burn in the flames. Yeah, I tell them this ain't a game, I say I gotta play your hate cause some things gotta change. I tell them this ain't a game, but this a time for African people to rise. I tell them, Hey yo, I gotta play ahead, I gotta tell these players now's not the time to play.